St. Patty's Day. Welcome to the Drunken Mutt, where you never know what's going to happen, and we don't either. Anyway, if you watched any of my earlier video, me in RC industry, we brewed some beer last weekend, and it appears that the little ones here are ready to bottle. And so that's what we're doing here today. I got my bottles already sanitized and racked. In fact, I already bottled most of this one. Got about one bottle left before it hits the sediment. And that's what we're gonna do. So right now, filling it up. These little ones I like to bottle. The big ones, believe it or not, that's what's down here. These 5-gallon ones, when you bottle them, it is literally back-breaking work. I'm not joking. So I keg those. That's the easy way to do it. And these little ones I'm putting in bottles so that we can share samples. And when I get together with other brewers, I have friends down and so on and so forth. That's what we're all about here is having friends over for food and drink and having a good time. I'm using brew tabs in these. It's a lot easier than using priming sugar, I think. And they work really good. What happens is they help carbonate. So this one that I did a minute ago is an Irish red ale. And I found this one, believe it or not, at Goodwill, brand new. And I find a lot of this stuff seriously at Goodwill. So it's nice that people go out and buy Mr. Beer kits for the people in their lives, and those people don't have the patience or whatever, and they end up in my hands and not ever being opened even. And some of them I've done that way, and some of them I haven't. Now this one's a golden ale that I'm getting here. These carbonation tabs, I probably shouldn't put as much in as what I'm putting a whole tab in these little bottles, but I want them to be pretty. I want them to have a healthy head on them when I pop them open in about 6 weeks. So that's the reason I'm kind of overdoing it. It's got a lot of froth in it as it is. Top it up here just a little bit. I want to have a little headroom in there in case they do really get pressurized. They'll literally blow up a bottle. I've never had one do that. I've never had honestly a beer bottle that would seal that tightly. Let me just move all this around. See all that gunk in the bottom? That's the byproduct of carbonation. So my yeasties get to eat the sugar, and that is as I say, the byproduct of it. Give that a little more. Separate. This first 6-pack over here that I got is the Irish red ale. We'll put them over here on the table. Top this one up a little more. you can already see, even with these little kits, it's time consuming. If you haven't ever made your own beer, or cider, or wine, it's very easy to do. And Mr. Beer makes it, and others. I happen to have Mr. Beer. That first one, the Irish Red, is from Northern Brewing. Brew Demon is another one. None of these people are paid me, by the way. Is another one that makes these small starter kits. You just get the syrup, the sanitizer, the bottles, the little barrel, everything that you need to actually make good beer, and it does make very good beer. The only thing that you need to do is provide a 2-gallon pot, an oven, stovetop, I should say, a place to boil 2 gallons of water and something to boil it in, and a spot to store it in to let it ferment. That's it. This is all you need with a Mr. Beer kit. They send you everything else, the bottles, the caps, and then when you're done making one beer and you want to make another, you just hop on the internet. There are stores that sell them too. I don't know where at anymore. When I was in South Dakota, there was a place a sporting goods store actually that used to sell it, but they no longer do. But anyway, you can get the refills. You just order the refills, and they're about $30. They make, like I said, 2 gallons of beer. So it's not a way that you end up saving any money or saving any time. It's just kind of fun. I get together with friends and we brew beer together. And then we share our beer back and forth and go around and taste each other's beer. I don't play with the big boys yet. I mean, some of these people have $5,000 worth of brewing equipment, and that is definitely not me. And I can't see if I put carbonated cabs in all of them. I know I did not in that last one or two. Jacking my jaw, pay attention to what I'm doing, I guess. These bigger vats that you see down below here, these 2 6-gallon buckets, are a little more advanced, not much. You have to be able to read the directions a little bit if you're doing them. And the big boys order their own grains and grow their own hops and have a lot of money wrapped up in their hobby. And that isn't me. they're just the same. And some of these carbonated tabs that I've got actually have a fruit flavor to it. So if you're doing like a saison sort of beer, or maybe even Kolsch, or maybe you just want a different sort of taste to a beer that you're doing, this one's got fruity flavors or fruity notes, this bitter orange peel and different stuff in it. And sometimes they come out and they are pretty strong, other times not. You never know what you're going to get with one of these, that's for sure. I have friends that are in a beer club, but they all got together and and made the same beer, but some were aged a little different, at a little different temperature. Some were done with different water than others. Things like that. All of that affects the taste of your beer at the end. And so it's really interesting to see how the different beers will turn out. Just a little bit of variance. Somebody boils their wort a little bit longer. Grain is slightly different, uses a different hop. And it changes the whole dynamic of the beer. Crash. Those big bottles didn't want to fit in the drying rack very well. These are plastic, by the way. I have some glass bottles that I use as well. I just couldn't see having these sit around with without using them. I may have enough bottles after all. I was kind of worried about bottles. Actually, very worried. We should have got some new caps for some of them. Some of them are my original bottles that I started out with 6 or 7 years ago. You can reuse them time and time again. It's just obviously got to wash them out. Wash them dry. You can see in the time that it's taken me here that this you can imagine if you have 10 or 15 gallons of beer. And usually you prop these up on the counter just like we have here. And we throw a hose on them and fill the bottles up that way. And it is no joke. It's backbreaking work. It really is. This is, you can drink this right now, but to get a hint of what it's going to taste like, but until it's carbonated and chilled and everything, it smells like beer. Tastes like it's going to turn out to be a very good beer. It was had a lot of hops to this one, and not gonna lie, too much hops for me is not a good thing. So I didn't know if this is going to turn out. I mean, it's obviously it's golden ale. You would think that it'd be pretty smooth and not raspy to your palate. I always say a lot of the craft beers, if they're very hoppy, especially like your IPAs and some of them, they make me want to shave my tongue. Not the case with this apparently, but it was double hopped. And we're about to get to the bottom of it. This is going to be our last bottle. Of golden ale. Reason being, we don't want to get down into the bottom of this. That same sediment that you could see earlier in the Irish red. That same sediment is down at the bottom of this one. We don't want any of that into our bottle because we don't want to drink it because it's gross. Maybe top these off. Anyway, going to do the same thing with the IPA, and would do it with any other beer. But as I say, if you want to make beer, these little starter kits are pretty awesome. They're fairly inexpensive, and they make really good beer. You can buy them on the internet and have them delivered right to your house. But anyway. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the Drunken Mutt, and I'm out of here.